Hey everybody, it's time for our lesson. I just got back from walking Charlie, so I'm just still scrambling to get everything together. But here's my chair. Let me get my apron on. I'm just a couple minutes early. Oh, I want to open my window too. I just figured I'd get the live started. So I provided a beautiful photo and this little drawing, and I'm doing this on a 9x12 canvas, as I mentioned. Here, let me tag you guys. My back has been so bad. I hate reaching. Seems to hurt my back. Okay, tagged y'all. Tag, you're it. And so did you guys know about those hex colors? If you're trying to, hi Tammy, convey to someone else that's not with you in the same room a color, you can look up the hexadecimal equivalent of a color and use that. Oh, there's a staple on here. And that's what I did to show you this kind of mustardy color that I'm using. I was basically going for, you know, this kind of this color that's in the center of the sunflowers. So I am excited to paint this. Even though I painted it before, I actually feel like that'll be make it easier for me. And why not? You know, why not hit the easy button? I get my little garbage can lid in the corner there. Anyway, I want to pull up this photo on my iPad. So let me do that. Tammy, have you decided what you're doing? I gotta, oh, in my settings for your thing later on today. Where's my settings? Otherwise, this is just gonna keep turning off. Here it is. Oh, it's just so pretty. It just looks a lot better in the, you know, in the looking at it here. Well, I guess it's not that much different, really. So it's not going to be the end of the world if this goes away, but all right, where are my settings, my screen settings? See, my problem is I so seldom use this that, all right, I'm not going to do the settings because it's going to take me too long to figure it out. I'm just going to get started. And I'm going to roll up my sleeves. A textured mixed media pumpkin with clay accents. Oh, for some dimension, huh? You're going to use clay, huh? Like the air dry stuff. These probably aren't going to stay rolled up. So I'm using our standard palette, and we got a couple of newer people in the group. There is a unit on this, a guide on the standard colors that we use. It's basically, you know, a warm and cool of each primary. And we are all about using the Stay Wet palette, which is what this is. And I've been reusing this for quite a while now, and I really actually kind of, for this kind of a painting, I actually like when the colors are a little bit muddied by each other. It's actually kind of okay with this particular painting because it is a lot of earth tones anyway. So it's kind of like with what the watercolorists do, right? So let me bring some brushes over here. Just grab your favorite brushes. And a couple flats, a couple of rounds. I might even use my wispy chip brush here and there. And okay, so I am going to just draw this on with chalk. Let me grab my chalk. Oh, I got one right here. And it's funny when you look at this, when you look at this drawing, oh, I should turn myself upside down now so that you can see what I'm going to do. It's all about the flowers. The, you know, the, the vase looks so small, like in comparison to the flowers, right? But that's a good thing. I think I like that a lot, actually. Okay, does this look okay now, how we have this here? I hope so. So you could use your tracing stuff. I don't know that I'm even gonna do that. I think I will put these grid marks on here. And decide which flower is gonna be your focal point. Got my grid on. And now I'm just thinking about placement. If anything, draw stuff a little bit smaller because it's gonna get bigger. So the table here, there's a bunch of cool stuff going on in here. And okay, so right here is where this one is. It's got that flat. And you know, anytime you can just draw straight lines, I know this sounds weird, but anytime you can draw straight lines, do a straight line like I did in this sketch for you, because you can always round it out later on. Oh, this is a real big one. It goes all the way over here. And then this one starts right about here. And then there's another one here. Okay. And then there's some leaf action here. And this is just going to be Van Gogh style loosey-goosey. We have a Lucy in the group now. No offense, Lucy. There's a petal that comes in front of that one. And this is kind of cut off. A little bit of leaves there, and that's it. You know, you can be really loose with this one. I'm going to get the center in here. So I've numbered them 1, 2, 3. I know it looks like 33. This is number 4, 5, and 6. And I intentionally made one go off. Now, which one would be the focal point? Actually, what I'm going to do, oh, sorry if I was off camera. What I'm going to do is I'm going to look at where, all right, let me look at this and this together. I'm going to look at where there's dark meeting light, and that's going to be the focal point. And it'll pull your eye there because of contrast. So there's a lot of contrast right here. And I think I do like the idea of this one being the focal point. This one, it's too obvious because these two are right in the middle, which we're kind of breaking a rule there. But you know, rules can be broken. I think what I want to do is I numbered them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 because I kind of want the eye to come around and kind of go that way, you know. So hopefully the eye will come in from this edge and go around and, you know, out and back up, hopefully. So I want to have a really strong line here. Maybe do red. Let me get red. Something red. Okay, blue or highlighter. I got a highlighter. So hopefully the eye will come in this way, go this way, this way, this way, off, and then back up again. Okay, so I really want to have a strong contrast right here and another one here and here, you know what I mean? So here, 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 to go bing, 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 you know, if that makes sense. Okay, it's good to have a plan like that, at least have that idea in your mind. And how am I going to get you to look here first? I'm going to have the most contrast in value and maybe color saturation too. Because what's nice about this is even though they kind of all look like they're in shadow, the top edge of this like this, these here are going to come forward. That's why I have a straight line here. These are going to be really bright yellow, these petals right here. All right, so let's just get started. Too much talky. All right, so I am going to, now I want you to remember too, the petals are going to come last. We're going to work on the centers, the background. We got to get the greens filled in because that's behind. And a background color and the vase, everything. The petals are the very last thing, believe it or not. So let's start with a background, and we're going to probably wind up cutting in on the background a second time. So don't fiddle with the background too much. You're going to probably paint over it. Okay, so I'm going to get my palette going over here. I'm going to move the brushes over here. And I'm going to go back to this painting that you guys liked so much. I don't think I started the background with this brown, believe it or not. I think well, I had the mustard color. That's what I had. But I decided to make the background darker when everything else was in, because I realized I needed to get more pop from the petals. And that's probably going to happen to you. Yellow can be very weak. And by the way, if you are using student grade or craft paints, I recommend that if there's one paint you can buy professional, if you can only afford one tube of paint, it should be yellow, because it's going to have much better pigment coverage for you. And you know, yellow is one of those colors you really need a high-powered yellow. So anyway, maybe I'll keep this out over here to refer to. I'm going to put it right here so I can look at it. And I almost dipped my sleeve in paint. So, okay, I'm going to put, I guess I'm going to start working on my vase and my greens. So I'm going to start off with cool colors. I'm going to use just a mid-sized brush and wet it. And maybe I'll start with those dark greens. And I don't even know if I have enough paint out on here right now. Probably not. I've got some brown and some blue. This may not be really the right color. Oh, I just made it purple. Not good. But you know, sometimes, like, where do I want that most punch we were just talking about? Like right here, I want a hint of it. So these are going to be behind. I know this is purple, but I'm getting my darkest darks in right now, since I got it on my brush, you know. Changing it up a little bit. And I'm just looking at where are the darkest darks right now. And just putting a few strokes of a dark color in. I'm going to do the same dark color in the vase a little bit. I want it to be dark under here so that this flower comes forward and pops. And when you're doing a vase, you need darks in there first. You may not think you do, but you do. That's probably all of them. Oh, there's a little bit right here. Right in here. And I'm looking at my reference the whole time here. Okay. So, what am I going to need? I'm going to need some more paint out here. So let's make a better green now. I need my mid yellow. This is going to give me a better green. My cad yellow medium. And I think I want some more umber. You can also, gray will come in handy for this painting, I believe. When you mix gray with yellow, you get sort of a greenish color. Let's see, let's look at that. Let's do that real quick. Yeah, see this green and gray right here? It makes a beautiful dusty green, actually. And it really kind of looks like this color, well, almost in there, you know? So now that I've got this, I'm gonna just kind of mix it in with that blue that purpley blue that I put down. And I'm just being really loose, really, really super loose. Have fun with this one. Don't worry about it so much. Just have fun with it. This is when you can really be loose and have fun. You know, think of Van Gogh's stuff, what he did. Okay. There's a hint of some right here too. All right. All right, then the vase, it's really light. And I don't want this to steal too much attention. I do need shadow to create some form, but this is really blue, a bluish gray, believe it or not. So I'm gonna mix some white with this and make this really pale, grayish, bluish, whitish color. I mean, you can get away with it on this one. You really can get away with all of this. Okay. That's a little too blue, so let's warm that up a little bit. I'm gonna make an orange. And it went gray, but that's okay. Or white. So I can come back in and hit this with white and it'll look really pretty good, I think. Okay. So now let's work on the background a bit. And, oh, since I got this bluish color in my brush, I'm gonna maybe make the shadow kind of bluish. I know that probably seems weird. And wherever the light is hitting, you want it to be really dark on the light side, believe it or not, because light does this goofy refraction thing. Okay. So I got this really dark at the base. I did that on this painting and it really helped it right here, really dark. And the shadow is darker closest to the object, so let me get that in here. I'm just hit whatever I got over there. That's why the Stay Wet palette is so nice. It's a whole bunch of different colors, and I can just whatever I get kind of a thing. All right, so let's get this back here. And you know that blues are the complement of yellow, so that's always gonna look good, right? Then on the other side, we're gonna go, it's still gonna be blue, but a lot whiter. So let me get some white. So it's a very cool shadow. Still using the same brush, didn't wash it or anything. Grab some white, add some white to this grayish, weird color. Maybe I want it to be a little warmer also, so I'm gonna grab a little of that orange I made earlier. And I don't know if I like it until I put it in there, and it looks pretty good. It's kind of gray, and that's okay, it's neutral. I don't want too much color down here. I want the sunflowers to steal the show, right? So this is this kind of shadow comes off this way. Oops. And this is a base layer. I can always come back in and do more. I think I want to warm it up just a little bit more with some orange. The white tends to cool, so then you need to add something warm. And of course, the best warm colors are yellow, orange. Red can even be kind of cool sometimes. I think it needs to be lighter. Oh, I guess I still have some kind of weird gray in my brush. Horizontal lines give the feeling of a horizontal surface. So I would paint the table, you know, with horizontal strokes. Okay, so that's not bad. We're just laying in all of our colors, and then we're going to see how it all looks together. That's what you want to do. You don't really know for sure how it is until you see it all working together, right? Because like we always say, color is relational. One color next to another really affects it. You know, you are affected by what you are next to. How's that? That's philosophical for you. I wish I had some burnt sienna. I think that's what I used for that background, and it worked out really nice. But we can make our own burnt sienna. We can make orange, right? So orange is yellow and magenta. And then we can add, I don't know what gray would do to it. We could add brown or burnt umber to it. This might be an okay background. It's very neutral. That might work. I might want it darker. And, you know, if I do, okay, I will deal with that later. For now, I'm just putting down what my intuition tells me to do for the moment, and then I can come back and assess after I'll have a better picture, you know what I mean, of what I need to do after it's all in there, you know what I mean? There's just, you don't really know what you need until you get the whole picture, all the colors placed in. And so that's why, I mean, I say don't fret so much about this stuff, because you're going to probably wind up painting over it half the time. Okay, so we're bringing that in, and the flowers are starting to come forward, aren't they, you guys? I think I do want it warmer. I probably could be using a bigger brush, but I actually don't mind how this is looking. Now you notice all these colors look kind of muted and stuff, and you want that. Oh, I want to stay warm though. I want to stay warm because it's right up against the vase, and I want the vase to be cool. Okay, so I have somewhat of a background painted in, right? Oh, poor reception. Hey, Teresa. Well, thanks for trying. No problem. I understand. It's so annoying when that happens, right? Ugh, hate that. And remember, we want that sunflower to come in off the edge to bring the eye in. Okay. So, I think I need this a little darker here. So I'm just going to bite the bullet and give myself some more burnt umber. I need that burnt umber. And I think I want the vase bluer, the water in the vase just a little bit bluer. Well, I don't know. Maybe it'll look bluer when I get the flowers in. Who knows? Okay, so white, burnt umber. I had orange. Yeah, I don't want this to be so... Maybe this is a little lighter here and it gets darker up on top. Let's try that. And maybe there's just a bit more of a hint of this in here to harmonize. Okay, I want to soften this up a little bit. Okay, so now I'm wetting this to make it a little more abstract. Yeah, just softening it a little more. And sometimes the scratchy technique really works. I think I really do want that blue though. So here's how it's looking so far. So let me get some, I think it was ultramarine blue. Little ultramarine blue, white. Oh, it's very, very light. Actually, it is really light over here. There's just a couple of like really light pieces. Okay, that's probably enough. Had a little fun with that. Let's get a little grayer. This part is a little bit grayer up here, but it's light. And then there's some of that. And that's enough. If you get too much with it, it just starts to kill it. It's just a suggestion. These are just suggestions we're putting in there, right? Now I just need a darker edge on the bottom. And sometimes I like to turn it. Just easier for me to have better control by turning it. So this is going to bring attention here because it's contrast and it's sharp. So I don't want to do much more than that because I don't want to, again, I don't want to steal from up there. All right, so we are ready for the really dark centers now. So I'm going to use this brown with some ultramarine blue to make it even darker. And you know, there's a lot of different ways to do these centers. I kind of want a ring effect, I think, where it's light, or, you know, it's medium, light, and then dark, if that makes sense. Probably doesn't. but you'll see. Now, this one we're kind of seeing from the side. Okay. And those are nice and dark. So I'm really looking at the shape at my reference. I'm really, really looking at it. And of course, when I look at on here, they look like they have a cast of green on top. But for now, I'm not going to put the green in yet. I'm going to kind of put that in on top. For now, I'm going to keep it like a, you know, a burnt sienna-ish orangey color. So I'm actually using, I don't have orange. I'm actually using my magenta with burnt umber. And then I can also add yellow to this. So yeah, I like this color. It's basic, and this up here it's a little bit darker, which I did not make darker yet. I'm kind of just blocking it all in like we said we would do. Okay. It's funny, this one, it looks much greener. Isn't that interesting? But I think that's because I added that in on top afterwards. Okay, so now I feel like my greens could pop a little bit more. So maybe I'm going to put a little bit of black out. And of course, if you mix black with cool yellow, you get some great green. So I got carbon black here. Or like, I want like a sap green, a really rich green. Probably need some phthalo for that. All right, so now I'm grabbing some cool yellow, some phthalo, and I get this crazy green, right? Really crazy green. So let's warm it up with some magenta. And that looks much more, you know, natural. Maybe even a little medium yellow. Now that's a vibrant green. There's really not much muting that. There is a little bit of magenta in there, but I do, this one over here really does stand out. The ones that are, you know, up top are getting some light. So just a couple pieces like that. And then it goes really dark. These back here are dark. So from the same green, I'm going to add black now and get a really dark, rich green. And that really does look like sap green to me. And I'm going to put that in down here. It's okay. I'm going to let some of my previous layer show. My previous green. Okay, this needs to be dark. Oh, something from my, don't open up a bottle of paint over your painting. This little shred of dried paint fell on my painting. Word to the wise. Okay, so that I think is pretty good. Got those nice darks in there. So you have to do all this work to get to the point where you can do the fun part and put in the brighter colors and everything. I think I can get even darker back here. So I'm going to take my burnt umber, and I'm going to warm it up and lighten it up just a little bit with some magenta. Maybe a little yellow too. Dipped in the water to get it a little juicier. Oh, I might still need to be darker. Wow. I mean, you know, keep in mind, it all dries darker. But I do want these strokes to be horizontal. I'm hoping that'll help the eye come in from this side. So I am doing this on purpose. Okay, yeah, that looks like that's going to be nice and dramatic now. And I guess I do need to bring this down here, like I did before. Get this even, you know, more dramatic down here. Of course, if you add a little bit of blue, I'm adding some phthalo blue to this brown. It's getting really nice and dark. Okay, good. So made it even a little darker over there. Okay. Oh, I didn't cut in around my vase enough. Put a little bit of this up here in this corner. This will really give us some nice strong contrast up here, and maybe that'll be, hopefully that'll help the eye come in. Yeah, I think that helped a lot actually, putting that dark up there. All right. You may not think that you need to put this much strategy into it, but you know, you do. Okay, and over here it kind of changes. And I'm making it pretty painterly. All right, I think. So now the greens are popping a little bit more. And let me just stand back from this a little bit. Yeah, I like it, I like it. I can always make the colors more vibrant. Okay, so let me dry this. I think we're just about ready to put the petals in. This is coming together pretty quick. It's a quick one. Okay. Yes, I'm liking it so far. So, let's see. So I want to get those various tones in there. I'm basically looking at my reference and deciding, right now these are all the same, but when I look at this center in general is lighter. This one's the darkest because of the way it's turned. So these two are kind of the same. This one's lighter. So I'm gonna adjust that now. Now that I see everything here, I realize this is not the same as that. So let's make that lighter. So I'm still looking at big shapes. Before you jump into, you know, the really fun petals and all that, you got to make sure that you got your big shapes and values pretty good. So that needed to be lighter. That's going to help that a lot. This, remember how we said it has this cast of green? So maybe now I'm going to put just a subtle cast of green in here with some dots. Texture. Same thing on this one. And the other one I'll just darken a little bit. I don't want to get too detailed because that one's the center of attention. We do see some of this over here, but let's get this guy just a little bit darker. Yeah, he just needs to look a little bit darker. And where I'm going to have that petal coming down, I want it really dark. Okay. This one isn't really quite as brown as I have it, so let's change that a little bit. I'm going to make it a little more orangey. It can have just a little bit more vibrancy to it. Kind of going to go over that a little bit. And I'm just doing a dotting kind of stroke for this. And I really do see the green in this one somehow, but it's a yellowy green. Yeah, now I'm starting to see the yellowy green more. Okay. There's also hints of it over here, but this one in general is darker. So I'm going to use more orange on this one since I want this to be the center of attention. Okay. Yeah, isn't that funny what that did? It really, contrast, baby, really works. Okay, so now, all right, I think we can finally lay in some petals. And I really want you, maybe take a screenshot of this. I really want you to make sure that you've done all this work before you put your petals in. Okay, guys? Because it's too much of a pain to go back and darken the background once you've got the petals in. Okay, so now let me just, so practice some petal strokes. I would use a round, actually, I don't remember if yeah, I did. I used a round, but you need a kind of a beefy round that comes to a little bit of a point, but it's okay if it doesn't come to a really fine point. You know, pick your favorite round brush, and I'm just going to show you a couple of practice petals here on the back of this plate. So you want to have a really nice puddle of paint, which I don't have yet. I gotta make that. All right, here's, oh, I got way too much. So this is a really cool yellow. That's going to be my highlight on top of my yellow petals. I think all of this is a bit too muddy for me to use. Whoa, I just flung my napkin. But, so like this is a little not, you know, make sure you've got a nice puddle of paint that's juicy. And, you know, load your brush. And when you're going to do a petal, be decisive about it. Yeah, if you're good with an angled brush, I'm not good with an angled brush. I don't know, I never use those. But if you're good with an angled brush and comfortable, then yes, by all means. So let's say this is my flower. Right? That's my sunflower center. You want to start here, press, and kind of turn, you know, put the point down, press down, lift up, turn, and decide which way the petal's going. And really look at your reference. Sometimes you can come back and do this sort of thing. Sometimes it's better to start from the outside in. And I'm almost S-curving them. Sometimes they do this. And just do that. Do an apostrophe like that. That's what some of them look like. But try not to overthink it too much. Press, lift, and turn. Press, lift, and turn. Okay? They're fun, but you know, if you're like, oh, I'm so scared, I did all this work and I don't want to ruin it, then just practice. You know, practice on a plate, just like this. Now it's going to glide really nice on a plate. And then, okay, so if you've got these side ones, the ones that are really on the side, well, let's do that one first. Here, let me get my mix ready. Actually, maybe I will use this greenish color for these back ones. There is a back one back there that I didn't even really draw in. So let me just get a couple of that in there, right? There's that. And then there's this one here. So look how I'm positioning it so that I'm going to be super comfortable with this. Some of them are a little darker. I'm switching to another color now. Go back to my lighter yellow. I need to make it go outside into that background area that I painted, so. And then I can then switch to my even lighter color, that really light color that I just mixed, and just hit it on the tips with that. And then they kind of go like this. So now I'm going to use my orange for the center of this. Here's this center, and it's kind of really orange right here. So let's grab an orangey color and kind of pull it out. Go back to my petal color and kind of blend that a little bit. And these are just side ones anyway. Mostly you just want to get the light on the edge of the brush, on the edge of the sunflower to show. So now on my reference, this one is much more orange, you know, orange and gold and yellow down here. So I need to get more paint out again and make a really brilliant orange now, which I think you can make a really brilliant orange with yellow and magenta. We were noticing that when we were doing color charts, that when you buy a tube of cad orange, it's an even better orange than you can mix with anything else. I don't know how they do it, but man, cad orange in a tube is absolutely stunning. I love orange. Some people don't like orange. I love orange. All right, so here, woo, that's really orange. A little more yellow. I didn't really wash my brush. I still had a little green in there. That's okay. So now I'm much more orange, right? I'm going to come down here and do the same thing. Just kind of go with the flow. Turn it. So some of them I do from the middle out. Press, turn. These kind of go this way though. Make some of them go down. Some of them short, some of them go down. I wish I hadn't done that one so pointy, but it's not the end of the world. Can kind of redo it. Okay, so that looks like a nice backlit orange color coming in. I like what that's doing. While I've got this nice orange, I'm gonna come over here to this one and get that in here. You know, and sometimes they really do look all ruffled and strange. So it's okay if they do that. Oh, that one I came down too long. But, you know, who's going to know? They're going to know. How are they going to know? I don't know. I'm weird. I love those videos. All right, let's get some of this. Oh, these petals come around this way too. So I'm coming back over here now. Putting a little smattering of this orange here and there. It also comes in right here. So take your time, you know, with these. If your brush starts to not give you a nice tip, it means you need to reshape it. You need to kind of manage the tip. It can get a little bit, you know, heavy in the middle like we all get. All right, let me look at this now. This kind of comes like this. And you see how I'm turning it, right? And I can come back in with my, I'm going to come back in with my light yellow. But the orange, see how that really makes it? These petals really make the whole thing. Okay, these kind of do a really weird thing right here. And they turn. So I'm gonna try and have my brush stroke show the weird turn that's going on. And then this one comes in into the center. And then these are all just kind of dull back here. And then this one comes in front. And that's where I really want that focal point. So get those background. These are part of that one. Need to get that back in there so that when I do this one, it's in front. Does that make, and also this one. Make sure you got all these petals that might show in between the petals of the front one. Make sure you got all this filled in. All right, so we're coming around. This kind of comes out this way. This one comes out into this area. Okay, and then trying not to make them all go the same way and all of that stuff. Okay, so then I'm going to come back with my lighter yellow, and it's actually even a cooler yellow. If you want those tips to stick out, use that cool yellow that you made before. It's the cool yellow pigment. Cad yellow light, sorry. Hard to talk and paint at the same time. What can I say? And look how that just pops. So it's just finding a balance of how much of, you can mix the two yellows together to get a slightly more, you know, neutral yellow also. I like what that's doing. Okay, I think we're just about there. Now we're ready for this one. So these are not the light yellow over here. There is some really light cool yellow on top of this, which I'm just gonna kind of suggest just a bit. And then, okay, now we're gonna do this guy. This is a little too obvious what I'm doing here. And since I've got some of this on here, you can also, you know, put these dots in with some of these colors if you want to. I wouldn't go too crazy with this if you don't want this to become the focal point, because it will kind of quickly become the focal point if you're not careful. You know me with the dots, I love doing dots, so I had to hold myself back quite a bit. It's amazing how just a few are all you need. I'm trying to chisel point my brush. So there's light dots and dark dots. And try to make them, you know, different sizes and all of that good stuff. My dots on my focal point one need to be darker, since everything is darker on this one. And look at where the dots are. Don't assume you know. They're kind of stamens, so they kind of projectile out a little bit. Okay, I'll add some dark dots, you know, later. Okay, a little bit more orange in here maybe. All right, now let's do these petals, and we are almost done. These kind of come down and cover up. Need to get a little bit more yellowish. So this is pretty much just the straight cad yellow medium would be what I would use here. And then of course we'll come back in and paint the tips. All right, this is gonna come like this. Where is this? There's a petal here, here. And then I'm gonna have to come back in with that really lighter color. These go like this. Oh baby, this is very gratifying doing this part. Now remember, I've done this one before, and I didn't have this amount of confidence the first time. I'm just telling you, seriously. So paint it more than once. This one is beautiful, what's happening. There's these beautiful silhouetted shadows going on in here. Okay. This is nice and tall. This one is like, whoa, look at me, right? Turn it. A big sunflower, right? Big old sunflower. Okay. Now, this one kind of turns and then comes this way. So we're gonna get our, dip in my sleeve again. We're gonna get this. Let's see, it comes like this and turns. And I'm gonna hit it with, yeah, a lot lighter. Ooh. All right, I might have dipped a little, well, it's kind of working. I'm using actually a really cool, it has a little green in it, but it's kind of helping it actually to differentiate it. So yeah, you actually do see just a bit of green in here. So anyway, oh, I went a little too far with that one. It's really just, you know, the cool yellow. But you see how the cool just pops against all that? It's pretty cool. And I'm gonna put a hint of it down here. Let me soften that a little bit. This is a fun one, you guys. It is. Just wetting this to soften it. Just to kind of make it a little more abstract. You know, because it's a vase of water, it does look soft. And I think this kind of gave it a little bit of a glow. Maybe a little too much, I don't know. I liked the blue I had in this one, so maybe I'll put a little more blue back in. Let's see. And then I want to kind of make this look more like a stem. So I'm going to just kind of put some green lines coming up. Yeah, just a hint of something more linear to give that feeling. And then it's going to become a little more muted and gray. Or over here maybe. I don't want it all to look too much the same. The nice thing about doing this is that you can cut in and fix some of those petals if they're not looking right. This is too harsh. Something that's too harsh, just hit it with your finger. It's the best way to soften an edge. And remember, we want soft edges down there. Maybe just a couple of small glass highlights on the glass, but you don't want to, you know, steal the show. So now I can go back in and tweak anything that really needs to pop out a little bit more. Add in my dark dots here and there and things like that. I think I will do just a few, you know, dark dots, especially over here, since this guy is the focal point. And you know, right here, I really wanted this to be my focal point, so I'm darkening that just a little bit, making a couple sharp edges, and your eye's really going to go there now. Maybe even over here, darken in between. See, now that we have the petals in there, we can come back in and manipulate things just a little bit more. You know, and this might be too dark, I don't know. Soften it with your finger. So it's all the tweaky little things you can do. Over here, I can make this a little bit darker. Because I want the eye to move around here and notice all this stuff. You know, and maybe there's just a couple of little spots where the petals, between the petals, where you do this sort of a thing. But that's pretty much it, you guys. You can have a lot of fun tweaking it. Let me know if you have any questions at all. Just drop them in the comments below. I'd be happy to, you know, answer any questions that you might have. But I think I need to, like, my brain is a little bit tired of this, looking at this. My eye's going right here. That might be just a little too much going on right there. little too light. I don't know. I might need to bring, yeah, I do need to bring more light in over here. Let's do that real quick. So just that detail and line work here and there is going to bring the viewer's eye there. Oh, and also this is really in front. To kind of get this in front just a little bit more. It's a little too white and a little too cool right now, but I can come back in with a cleaned up yellow and get that in there good. So I'm not going to put too much attention, you know, where I don't want your attention to be. This is just a little bit more reflected light in here. So that is helping that, bring that forward, giving that a little more attention. These are almost all like outlined in a cool, a cooler yellow. Just a couple over here too. Like this just really comes forward. Okay, I think that's it. Let me know what you think, you guys. I went a little too long on these, but that's easily fixed. If you wind up feeling like you messed up an exterior bloom like that, you can very easily just paint the background back in again. Paint over that background. Oops, I made a blue. I didn't mean to do that. Trying to make a neutral browny beigey color. Oh gosh, now it's pink. Ugh, that looks terrible with that. Here, yellow. Yellow and brown. Oh, that's too yellow. Let's add a little gray to it. See how I can cut back in and just eliminate all that. No, and they're never gonna know. They're gonna know. How they gonna know? Sorry, my weird sense of humor coming out again. Maybe this should just all kind of blend in together and we don't even know where the table begins. I know, I said I was done and here I am. I don't know, sometimes I like making the table, you know, just come forward a little bit more. You kind of need to have more of this color anyway to do the sides. If you're using, I'm using a really deep canvas here. So yeah, it all kind of just melds in together. Okay, so now this whole side has become just, you know, more diminished. It's just not as important. It's softer and pushed back a little bit more, I think. So anyway, that's probably good enough. I might darken this one just a little bit more. It's another thing I'm seeing now. Let me get some. Get this just a little bit darker. Yeah. And this one too, it's darker. It's really darker underneath here. Oh, I keep getting these light colors. It's usually the opposite of what happens to me. Okay, yeah, that knocked that down a little bit more. Okay. So I'll take a picture of this and post it. And that's it, you guys. Like I say, let me know if you have any questions. I didn't really stand back from this and look at it. There's probably some things I need to fix, but overall I'm pretty happy with it. Have fun with this one, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.